What a great segue into what you used to do, because I think I want to talk about the steps. So I definitely want to hit on how somebody can go from order taker, like total customer service rep, to the top sales rep in their space. That I definitely want to get out of this podcast. I think that's fascinating how you take people through that. But tell me about your upbringing. Like, you weren't this
No.
salesy, personality
No.
driven kind of guy, right? Take me back, growing up, college, all that good stuff. What's up?
No, and that's the thing, and this is where I've appreciated your help a lot, is embracing that story and using that more as a vehicle to kind of, because a lot of times I get stuck in my head and I want to go analytical details, tactics, here's what you do and say. And the story behind it is important, of why the hell I think I'm, worth listening to, which is really the key. I mean, my mom, before she retired, she was in banking and finance. My dad, before he retired, was in electrical engineering,
Couple of
sciences,
sexy
program
professions
management.
right there.
Not only like analytical, detail oriented, but I was also raised in a very almost anti-sales household, where salespeople were seen as bad things. My mom is a banker, so she saw lots of bad things happen to people because of businesses. And
Yeah.
so always skeptical, even to this today. Like, unless she knows somebody's good and it was a referral, like, she walks into a car dealership, just like,
Yeah.
claws are out
Stay
and
away from
she's
me.
on defense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was raised every few years going to dealerships and watching her battle salespeople because they were evil. And so that's how I was raised, very anti-sales, right? Not Gary V selling lemonade, doing all these things, whatever. It was very, very separate. And then, I went to school, got my bachelor's degree in marine biology from UC Santa Cruz. I
Another
tagged
great
sharks.
sales foundation.
Yeah, that's, and so from there, and I tagged sharks for like 4 years, everything from small 2-3 foot greyhound sharks to
What's that
great
even?
white
Okay,
sharks.
stop.
Yeah.
Stop. What does that even mean? Tagging sharks. What's that even?
Yep.
Where?
Well, so I went to UC Santa Cruz, so it was in and around Monterey Bay, sometimes in Elkhorn Slough, just catching them by hand, walking through the water, sometimes out in the boat, catching them by hand, leaning over and catching sharks. And then, great whites, they swim by and you tag them with a big spear and put radio transmitters at the time. So,
Dude, you
yeah.
can have that all day. You're going if a great white swam within 800 miles of me, I would wet myself. I don't even.
I was really excited because the year I started working with them, they had upgraded their boat. I was with them when they had a 21-foot boat. The year before, they had always had a 16-foot boat. And there was one day we were getting circled by 3 18-foot great white sharks. So our boat was just a smidge bigger than them.
And
So,
anybody have any fear? Like, hey, they're looking at
no,
us like that's dinner, or?
no, and I was the young guy, and my job was to keep the bait that was hanging off the side of the boat away from the 6,000-pound sharks who were coming to eat it. That was my job.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So so when did the transition occur? Like, hey, then you went overseas, right?
Well, no, not yet. So from there, I moved to Seattle and then went into tech support because I thought I wanted to be in computers. So I worked at
Okay.
Microsoft for 2 years doing tech support, realized I wasn't passionate about it. We all ended up losing our jobs to China and India. That was the beginning of outsourcing in 2002. Like,
Okay.
and now it's commonplace, but there was a time when that didn't happen. And literally we lost our jobs. And I was so thankful because I didn't like it. I was trying things, but I just didn't like it. And then I fell into, as a referral, into the mortgage business, which was my first official sales job. But sales were easy. Mortgage was easy. I didn't get any training. It was trial by fire. And that started my path for sales for the most part, except for a couple of times where I ran away from it again.
Yeah. What was the lesson you learned being a mortgage salesperson? I mean, what was something that jumped out at you?
So the biggest one I still take to this day is my analytical brain, which you've mentioned, loves data, loves spreadsheets, loves options. My buying style is give me lots of options. Don't force me into one. Otherwise, I'm going to shut down and run the other way.
Yeah.
So I used to treat prospects the same way. The golden rule, right? Treat other people like you want to be treated, which is wrong. In the book that I'm writing and in the course that I have, I teach sales reps not to do that. Because again, Sam Crowley, if I came to you and said, here's a spreadsheet with the 15 options for mortgages you could pick from, let me know what you want to do. You're shaking your head. You're going to say no. Let me think about it. When the mind is confused, the automatic animal response is no, and then leave away. So I lost so many deals because I came with what I thought was the great sales approach, which was here's a ton of options, no pressure, you decide. Instead, what I realized, no, ask questions, figure out what they need, 2 options, 3 options. Here's what you said based on what you want. Now pick, now let's go. and don't overwhelm. Just keep it super simple, but targeted and exact.
What a great principle. A confused mind never buys.
Never.